Most people believe their life will change the moment they hit their first $100,000. They imagine less stress, more freedom, a sense of arrival, and financially, it feels like it should be a turning point. But here's the reality most people don't expect. The first 100K doesn't change your life because of the money. In fact, in today's world, 100K alone doesn't dramatically transform your lifestyle. So why do experienced investors, wealth builders, and financial planners consistently say the first 100K is the hardest? Because the real transformation isn't happening in your account. It's happening in you. The impact of reaching 100K shows up in ways that aren't obvious at first, not in what you can buy, but in how you think about money, how you respond to uncertainty, how patient you become, and how your future begins to accelerate. Once this shift happens, wealth stops feeling distant and starts feeling inevitable. Let's break down what actually changes and why most people misunderstand this milestone. There's a common assumption that $100,000 is powerful simply because it's a large number. It sounds impressive, it feels substantial, and culturally, it's often treated as the first serious financial milestone. But when you reach it, you quickly realize something surprising. Your life doesn't suddenly transform. You're still working, you're still budgeting, you're still making trade-offs. It doesn't instantly create financial independence, it doesn't eliminate uncertainty, and it certainly doesn't remove the need for discipline. So if the lifestyle impact is limited, why does this milestone matter so much? Because its importance was never about lifestyle, it was about capability. Reaching your first 100K proves something powerful. You now know how to build money, not just earn it. This usually means you've developed skills most people struggle to maintain. You've saved consistently, even when it wasn't exciting. You've invested, even when markets felt uncertain. You've resisted short-term spending for long-term progress. You've stayed steady through volatility. You didn't just learn these ideas, you lived them. And that matters because knowledge doesn't compound, behavior does. Once these behaviors become part of your identity, wealth building stops being an occasional effort and becomes a repeatable process. Before 100K, progress is driven mostly by effort, saving more, working more, contributing more. Your growth depends heavily on what you add. But after 100K, something subtle begins to shift. Momentum starts to participate. Now, market growth contributes more meaningfully. Small percentage gains create noticeable change. Consistency feels less fragile. Progress starts to feel less forced. You're no longer pushing a stationary object. You're guiding something already in motion. And this is when wealth building begins to feel fundamentally different. Not easier, but more responsive. The deepest change isn't mathematical, it's psychological. Before this milestone, many people question, is this even working? They wonder if the sacrifice is worth it. They second-guess during downturns. They worry they're too late. But once you reach $100,000, doubt begins to quiet. You've seen progress. You've experienced growth. You've watched consistency translate into results. And this creates a powerful internal shift. You stop asking, can I do this? And start asking, how far can this go? Fear reduces, patience increases, and time stops feeling like pressure and starts feeling like an ally. Many people treat $100,000 as a finish line, a destination, but its real value lies in what it confirms. You've become someone capable of building wealth. And once that identity forms, the second $100,000 rarely requires the same struggle. Not because markets become easier, not because life becomes simpler, but because your habits are stronger, your discipline is proven, your confidence is earned. The system is now internal, not external. So the first $100,000 doesn't change your life by itself. It changes how you think, how you behave, how you respond to uncertainty. And from that point forward, growth becomes less about effort and more about direction. If you're still building toward your first $100,000, focus less on the number and more on the behaviors that get you there, because those are what truly compound.